Yes, sir. We got 7'4" Victor Wembanyama. Was already changing the NBA rules. Or Victor, where your mama at? According to Isaiah Thomas, the old one.
Even if I wish and advise
I was about to say I was about to say the short one, but they both short.
Rejected at the rim.
he would not stay because he's here to compete.
He wants to go one-on-one. Turns and
That dude reminds me of like the 7'3" demigod off 2K15.
I want to get better.
They had the highlight green shirt, the highlight green shoes. They dribbled the ball up the court like this.
Is Victor Wembanyama the greatest
Like,
NBA draft?
that's what he reminds me of.
all time?
2K15
Because when
demigod.
it comes to generational prospects throughout NBA league history, there have been 25 times where former #1 picks were thought of as more than just franchise players. These were prospects who both fans and scouts alike thought could change.
Didn't he come off the bench in college?
Played to differing degrees. And the thing is, out of every name on this list, Victor Wembanyama might really stand alone as the greatest NBA draft prospect ever. Because when it comes to Victor Wembanyama, we cannot actually predict the future and what he might become. But what we can do is really dig into what #1 pick really went into the NBA with the highest expectations.
Oh, sorry, Al Main went #1.
Was the best NBA draft prospect to ever live, and is it Victor Wembanyama? But what makes a great draft prospect? I've thought on it, and I think we can all agree on these 4 core elements. #1, perceived game-changing talent. In Wemby's case, he's 7'4", he can shoot threes, he dribbles like a guard at times. We can see the talent there. #2, a signature pre-NBA performance. Right now, sorry, Scoot, we know what Wembanyama's is, but how does he rank against some of these all-time greats? That we're going to have to figure out as we dive into college, especially when we consider
the Scoot dunk the other day.
Statistical output before the draft, such as Victor Wembanyama's current 22.9 points, 9.6 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game against the #1 professional league in France. How does that compare to battling against college kids? We'll talk about it, but for now, the 4th factor, the buzz/hype the prospect has generated. For here, we can think LeBron James in 2003. That to me is the most hyped up I have seen a prospect in my life. Is that already a controversial statement? I'm not sure, but
even more hyped up than Zion?
As Mike here, and today we are talking Wemby, but we are also doing it big. This list of 25 players that we have, these generational guys, we're ranking every single one.
All #1 picks. Where's Anthony Edwards?
Each of these core 4. And at the end of this video, of course,
Cade
we're going
Cunningham.
to re-go over all of the 4 rankings and decide who really was the greatest NBA draft prospect of all time. Is it Victor Wembanyama, or is he at least in the process of becoming that guy? So as for perceived game-changing talent, that is tough for a lot of recent generational type talents. Guys such as Ben Simmons were seen as the
That's right, Ben Simmons went #1.
The real generational talent on this list, even when it comes to someone like LeBron James, who was also seen as the next Magic, is the original prototype here. So that would mean a 6'9" point guard that was drafted in 1979. I have to say, when comparing the rankings of this list, this might be a wild take already, but I think Magic Johnson is the greatest #1 pick, unicorn pick of all time. But before we continue, guys, I'm very excited to thank a longtime friend of this channel, DraftKings, for sponsoring. To me, Magic Johnson's generational talent surpasses that of a guy such as Lou Alcindor or Kareem. Because while Lou Alcindor was a generational unicorn, and
who's Lou Alcindor?
Seen a big man that tall to this day dominate with a single move like that, while he was seen as of a mythical figure.
You heard of Lou Alcindor? Who's that?
And buzz generated.
Who went against Wilt Chamberlain?
This type of generational talent was also an inspiration, and it changed the game of basketball. No offense to Kareem, he did not inspire young kids to grow up to be as tall as him. If anything,
Kareem, Lou Alcindor.
Catch on. Meanwhile, Magic Johnson's generational talent was so impactful to the game of basketball that now, if you're a 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" small,
I guess he was going by his middle name, I guess.
However, if Victor Wembanyama starts doing the skyhook, we can revisit this. As for Wemby, with that inspiration factor,
I think he's #2. He's not even in the NBA yet.
Him second.
Dude's not even in the NBA yet.
Here, Kareem's skyhook was incredible. He was for sure
can't judge him,
but the dribbling and 3-point shooting with Victor is just on another level, and he can reach #1 here if suddenly he does put it all together.
He hasn't played not 1 minute in the NBA, yet he's the 2nd greatest player of all time.
While dribbling the floor, while blocking shots on the other end, I think we can end up seeing Victor at #1 on this list. There is a reason why.
That's right, David Robinson went #1.
Talking about Victor Wembanyama in a way that
where's Tim Duncan at?
Heard of. They already have respect on his name.
Yeah, he's like the
2K creative player.
He's really in trouble when he comes in.
We got to get ready for this kid. You know, he's gonna be really good.
He's more like an alien for sure, a generational talent.
At number 5 on this
He
list,
already got the whole league scared. He hasn't even played a minute yet.
David
Yo!
Robinson was the original growth spurt to number 1 prototype in the NBA.
Oh, it's right there.
He was
Robinson
a
did hit a growth spurt. He grew like 5'8" in high school. Then he grew to 7'1".
5'9" junior high school guard, just a normal guy in your science class, who grew into a 7'1" Hall of Fame center. From Pass Me That Beaker to Pass Me That Beaker,
All in college, bro.
Making this list, Robinson is actually one of the better prospects we've seen. He will be featured on a later chart, but personally, my favorite criteria here: a prospect's top individual performance does not include David Robinson, but does.
There we go. That's
Victor
with college.
Wembanyama, because when the lights are the brightest,
Slash
who
high
is
school
performing
for
the
LeBron.
best? That is what matters to me. That's what matters in the NBA, and that is when the true superstars come out. And so, watching Victor Wembanyama dominate on a United States stage, watching him take it to Scoot Henderson, was one of the greatest performances we have ever seen from a draft prospect.
Send it to the second row.
Time, as this was a
He hit a
true-
fan in
I
the
had chance
face.
to go out and show the world that I am capable of anything.
That's why you
That I
said
am
front row or second row. You always gotta be aware and have your guard up. Because any moment you get hit by the ball, because someone can
that I
spike
am
it out.
really going to come into the NBA and dominate from day one. Moment for Victor Wembanyama. Those games were what we as fans were all waiting for, and not a single person has said anything other than they were amazed. The thing that I love most personally is how personal Victor Wembanyama took this himself. You could tell just how much he wanted to show everyone how great he truly was, because he had worked so hard to get here already. This is a guy.
Dude is basically Rudy Gobert with the jump shot.
Trainer needed to tell
He's
him to
basically Rudy
stop
Gobert with the jump shot.
practicing. This is a guy who, in the summer, played Tyrese Maxey in a game of one-on-one after a workout and chose to only play defense because he wanted to get used to guarding a quicker NBA-level point guard. This is a teenager. Victor Wembanyama has a work ethic that I look up to. The man has put a goal out there and has improved tremendously these last few years in front of our eyes. It's been nothing short of incredible. I do have to give Magic Johnson beating Larry
Bro,
Bird
can't
in the
see.
most watched college basketball game ever the top spot.
Magic had an afro.
We've never seen a final game with two greater individual players than Larry Bird, the Player of the Year from Indiana State, and the Magic Man from East Lansing, Urban Johnson.
It was for the national championship.
Y'all can't
as well,
see
and
that.
It was Bird versus Magic. Bird won the national player.
It's hard
of the
to
year.
see.
This was low-key a Magic Johnson revenge game. As for Bill Walton's performance, I also will rank that ahead of Wembanyama.
Oh, he's black and white.
In the
You can't see him.
1973 NCAA title game. Bill Walton made 21 of his 22
pointing at?
shots to score
I can't even
44
see this.
points.
It's
He would
blurry.
have had 52 points if his 4 dunks had counted. Thanks, Lou. Just kidding. We love you, Kareem. Also, speaking of Lou Alcindor,
Oh, my
his
eyes.
revenge over Elvin Hayes in Houston was a huge deal at the time, as was
Kareem
LeBron
with the
versus
UCLA.
Melo, though I will say, when it comes to LeBron versus Wemby here, LeBron's team did take the L. We've got to be honest. Wemby did this.
With the blow by. Oh!
He blocked Scoot.
Wembanyama rejected at the rim.
Forever.
Hey, now.
Dude's like Rudy
Now,
Gobert with the jump shot,
statistical
bro.
output is a tough one, because we are
2K20,
comparing different
2K15
prospects of different eras,
demigod.
of course, before we even factor in international players such as
Michael Zane talks about Paxson.
Victor Wembanyama. In the United States alone, college basketball has changed so much that former #1 picks such as Lou Alcindor used to stay all 4 seasons, and now a lot of players are trying to do anything they can to avoid college entirely. With that said, Lou Alcindor still has the greatest statistical output of any prospect. I don't care what anyone says. In his 3 college seasons, Lou Alcindor was 3-time NCAA Player of the Year, 3-time NCAA champion, 3-time Final Four Most Outstanding Player.
Why they calling Kareem by his middle name?
Unquestionably the greatest college player we have ever seen. He also averaged 29 points and 15.5 rebounds per game in his first college season, where he was actually a sophomore, which we will get into in a second.
Oh, he
Now, let's
redshirted
stick
his
to this
freshman
list,
year?
though, because everyone on this list had a great statistical year, was college national player of the year. Sure, that means I'm sorry, Magic, but Bird was national player of the year and crushed you individually stats-wise, if we want to talk about it. Also, I'm sorry, LeBron James, but we kind of have to give you an incomplete here because you never
You ain't go to college.
played against anyone but high schoolers. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama has been playing against grown men, and if Luka Doncic had been the #1 pick, if he fit into this list, I would, with his European achievements, rank Luka ahead of Wembanyama. But Luka is not here. So as for Victor
Luka
Wembanyama,
ain't go #1,
his average
'cause his son GM didn't like him.
22.9 points per game, 9.6 rebounds per game, and 3 blocks per game are remarkable.
And now he tortures his
Victor
son.
is playing against grown men on a daily basis
Brick.
in a pro level.
Oh, he
league.
blocked.
These teams teams are better than NCAA teams, and Victor has been learning so rapidly that last season, he put up solid numbers for a young guy. 9.4 points, 5.1 rebounds, 1.8 blocks a night, but this year, Victor Wembanyama leads his entire league in points per game, rebounds per game, and blocks per game. He is not doing this on a losing team. They are currently in second at 11-4. Last season, he shot 70% from the free throw line on only 1.3 attempts, sure. This season, he's shooting about 80% from the free throw line on 6.5 attempts. I'm not sure what we're seeing. Wemby is about to turn 19 on January 4th. In fact, I'll say it, we do know what we're seeing. We're seeing young greatness, and that brings us to category 4.
Gobert!
I want to highlight just how absurd Lou Alcindor
What they got in France?
Prospect. In high school,
All these black and white dudes, bro. Take these old heads off the screen. I can't even see it. It's black and white.
Power from power. Then as a freshman, back then, freshmen were
Shaq?
not allowed to play varsity NCAA basketball. They had to wait a year until they were sophomores. Regardless, when Lou Alcindor was a freshman, UCLA had a tradition where their freshman team
You talking about Kareem? He was saying his middle name back then.
Their real team. Alcindor and the freshmen took down the real team by 15 points. Then finally, in Lou's first college game, he scored 56 points.
Why is it black and white?
UCLA's scoring record. Then came the 3 national
They only got
players
color?
of the year, the 3 Final Four MOPs, the 3 national titles. Lou Alcindor going to UCLA and then dominating the way that he did was like if LeBron James went to Ohio State and then dominated in the same fashion. People had to wait years and years to finally watch Lou Alcindor, who then became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, play professional basketball.
He changed his name.
It was crazy. Looking at this list objectively, though, I'm going to rank LeBron
Thought that was his middle name.
James ahead of Magic
Lou
Johnson.
Alcindor.
Although I will say it is very tough. LeBron has the at a younger age angle going for him, and I think that wins out here. At the age of 16, Sports Illustrated ran a cover of LeBron James with the words, "The Chosen
Dang, LeBron, calm
16
down.
years old." What is wild is that they were right. In front of record crowds, celebrities, and loving fans, LeBron would go on to win a few more state titles before he was then drafted number 1. The LeBron James prospect hype train was wild. If Wemby was over here in America, where the NBA is, maybe he could match it, but in France, his hype has certainly died down.
Didn't Zion match it?
Time being, Magic Johnson at
Didn't
number 3.
Zion match it?
I will take over Wemby for now. Magic, of course, had his rivalry with Larry Bird going for him. It was also hoped that he would save the
Yep,
NBA.
Shep Owens and MP all over again. Whoop-de-doo!
And with the number 1 pick that year going to the Los Angeles Lakers, the hype became absurd. So that is where I will say, right now, already, I will put Victor Wembanyama at number 4. I think that is the bare minimum of hype he is going to generate here. He could end up number 1 on this list. We are going to see, but I do not think that changes anything. I think that when looking at this list, at least when it comes to the number 1 draft prospect of all time, I am going with Lou Alcindor. Lou Kareem, he was the first true basketball prospect that everyone was talking about before anyone even talked about basketball prospects. As a high school recruit, he was so dominant that just based on his talent alone, he became a trailblazer. So for the greatest NBA draft prospect ever, I am going to go with Lou Alcindor. But as for number 2, I think that spot is open for debate.
Allen Iverson?
I've got to go with Magic Johnson. I do think that is fair. We are only judging NBA draft prospects here. So while LeBron did not play in college, that was his choice, and then he ended up becoming one of the best young NBA players we've ever seen. So it was a choice that certainly worked out. I would say LeBron is number 3, with right now Victor Wembanyama coming in at number 4. Will that change as the draft comes closer? That remains to be seen. For now, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video.
Haven't played a minute in the NBA yet. Sheesh.
You could subscribe and turn on post notifications. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for watching. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always,
Looking like
have
Pau
an
Gasol.
awesome day and cue that music. If you're still here while the music